Hello ladies, and welcome to day number 8 of the 12 days of Craftmas. Today we're going to be making this beautiful card. It's a 5x7 card. It's got these really sweet little dangly tags on the side. Beautiful snowflake, teal colored snowflake with some silver highlights on it. Yeah, just this gorgeous card that we are going to make today. So we are going to start out by coloring the background paper for the background of our card and also for this piece that I've stamped on here. So we'll start with the background. Like I said, we're working with a 5x7 card. And we're going to be working, we're going back old school. So I've got some hickory smoke and I've got some pumice stone. So just some distress inks. I'm going to go in there and add a bit of water. It looks like it needs a bit more. Break up our ink. Lightly mist our background paper. And then I'm just going to tap in. And we're just going to add some color and some layers to our paper. So we're going back old school. Just going to move that color around there a little bit more. Spot we got there. I still need to move that a bit more. Get rid of some of the moisture. Picking up some of those drops. I love how these two colors kind of marble together. They're very pretty together. Okay, I'm gonna start over. Doesn't all have to be covered, but I do want the majority of it to have I like that. So this one I'm making a little bit lighter, I guess you could say, than the one that I'm going to stamp on. The one that's stamped that's on the top is going to be a bit darker in the hickory. Okay, I'm going to set that aside, just let it air dry a bit more till I'm going to pick up the rest of what I got on my mat here. So that first piece of cardstock was 5x7. This one looks about 5x5 maybe? No, 6x6 because we're going to be stamping on this stamp by Photoplay. So I just want it large enough for my stamp. So that was just pumice again. I'm just going to go move that around. I think I've got some little flecks of Infusions on my mat. I'm getting some yellow in there, which is fine. I'll just add to it, or it may not even be seen on the edge. Okay, now we're gonna go in with the hickory because like I said, I want this to be darker. Just no quick way to do this part. So I do still want it a little bit darker. That looks better. Going one final time. Okay, so I'm going to set that one aside, a little bit darker, which is perfect. We'll set that one to dry. I'm going to give this one just a final dry. Now we're going to use the Infusions, a Bit Jaded, so it's the teal color, but different than what we've done on the previous videos. Normally we put the Infusions on our mat. This time I'm going to actually put it direct on the card. Now we don't see a whole lot of it, a little bit in the corner here. So basically corners and kind of the edges is where we're going to see it. So I'm going to take it and I'm going to just tap a little bit of the powder. And this right there, I don't like how concentrated that is. So I'm just going to take a brush and just kind of move, separate those powders a bit, because those little crystals, you're going to see here in a second how saturated of color they become. So that little bit of powder, if you can see it on there, and then add your water. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? So from here, you decide how much water, how much color you want to see. I want it more muted, so I'm going to take my paper towel and I'm going to blot off some of that color. Because I don't want it. Remember how I said those little crystals, I didn't want too many. I want them so I'm just taking away some of that color so that it's more muted. That I'm not going to worry too much about because it's going to be covered, but I just want to see a little bit. Actually, I might even And did you notice the crystals? Notice how there's so many colors that make up that jaded color, which when we go in, which I'm going to do now, actually I'm going to set this aside to dry while we work on our snowflake, because we're going to go back to the first technique that I've done all along by putting the powder crystals on our mat. So there's just a few crystals, spray it with water, Take your palette knife, mix all those crystals together. And then the snowflake, which is from the Tim Holtz a die cut pack. And then I'm just going to go in and make this guy a bit jaded. Look at how beautiful that color is. Just gonna set that on there. We're gonna give them a dry and see if it is saturated enough with color, or do I need to? I think I might add just a little bit more. Don't want it too dark, but there's a few spots. Actually, let's go in and we'll give it a good once over, and then I'm gonna just remove the wetness from it so it's not really dark. Love it. That is perfect. Exactly the look I was going for. Okay, get cleaned up. All right, now we just need everything dried. Actually, maybe while I'm gonna let these guys just air dry a bit on their own, while we move on to, we'll make our little tags that are on the side. So all I've done for those is I have some stamps. I had a little snowman, I had the word snow, and then I have a Christmas postage stamp. So I'm going to punch out the circles, and I have a tag punch that I'm going to use for the snowman. And I've done two just so that I have the same image on the front and the back, because these tags obviously move, right? They shift and move. So I wanted to see you to be able to see both sides. And this snow, I'm going to leave just a little edge. And then I'm using my hickory smoke to just color these tags a bit so that they're not white. For all my customers, all my girls that don't like to get dirty, I'm really sorry, but this is not a clean craft. You are gonna get dirty fingers. Okay, so I'm not cutting this one out yet because I need it to be the exact same size as that one, but we have to add our string first. So I'm just using crochet cotton. Is a nice thickness, and I'm doubling it up. I don't know, it's maybe, I don't know, 6 or 8 inches. I'm just guessing. I'm honestly just guessing, but I'm using two, like a double. I'm just guessing. So this little, where it's in half, I'm going to use some of my two-sided tape and make sure, fold it in half and make sure I'm putting it on the right side of that circle so that it's at the top, so that that's going to create our tag. Take off the backing, add some more adhesive, and then put the other one, again, making sure it's going the correct way, and just squeeze them both together. And then I'll add So there's one. The little snowman, I actually have a tiny little circle punch that I will use. So I'm just going to go ahead and glue the two of them together. Let that dry just a bit. The snow, again, goes on the back. Take off that paper. Some extra adhesive. And then I'm gonna eyeball, hopefully. Actually, no, that's not gonna eyeball very well. Let's eyeball that first. And then we've at least got two. Then we can cut out and hope for the best. Perfect. And then go in this other side and ink that guy up. Okay, and then this little tag, I have a little punch, and hopefully I can see the middle. Perfect. And then this guy, I will do a tag tie. So go in half. Through that little hole. All right, so there's our 3 tags that are ready to go. Let's have a look at what we got. Still not quite dry. So on the back of the card, I'm gonna just do some random stamping. And I've used some stamps from the correspondence, number 225, Tim Holtz, and number 448. I've used those are some of my favorite stamps that I use often. And we're gonna stamp with hickory smoke. And I'm gonna, like I said, just randomly stamp. I am gonna stamp on, because some of it's gonna be off, and I wanna stamp off. I don't want the original, like the first stamp, I want the second impression so that it's lighter. Okay, maybe I do want the darker. I'll just go beside it. So that's that one. This one is over there. I've got the received. Is gonna go there. And actually, I see I have another one on my tag, which we haven't done yet, but I will just grab, since I need it stamped, I'll stamp that. This little postage, I just want the lines. Just want those little squiggly lines on there. And also on here. And I also see I've added some of this on there as well. All right, I think I have them all. Okay, so that's the background. Now I'm going in with the hickory smoke, and I am just inking the edges with hickory. And then I've distressed the edges. I just wanted it a little grungier. So we'll see if I can find my edge distresser. I'm going to use it on the side. I don't think you can see me. I'm just on the edge of my table. And then after I use an edge distresser, I always go in and re-ink those edges. Now on my original, I did sew. I took it on my sewing machine and I used some black thread and I went around the edges, but that you can do on your own. So that's the background. Now let's get this guy dry. And this is the one that we are going to stamp on. That beautiful image on there. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas is what it says in cursive writing at the bottom. So for this, I'm going to use a stamp platform. And I love the stamp platform because if it doesn't get a crisp image right away, then I can go back and I can re-ink it. So make sure you guys can see here. So I'm just putting, I have this jelly mat, which I do have available in the shop. It's just nice because it holds everything, holds your paper in place so that things don't move on you. All right, so that's the stamp side down. So I'm going to put it close to the edge there, pick up my stamp, and again, I'm using, am I using hickory for this or did I use black? I'm going to start with hickory, but I think I used black, but we're going to start with this just in case I did. I can't remember. It's been a while since I designed my sample. Yeah, I think it's definitely black. So because I'm using the stamp platform, my paper hasn't moved, so I can go in and re-ink until I'm happy with the image. There's a lot of detail in this stamp. One more time, I think. Should be good. Now, this one had a beautiful cutout, but if you didn't have that, you could just use a regular music stamp or some kind of texture stamp and just use a hole punch and punch that out, or trace a circle and punch that part out. Now, I do actually have a second piece. There's a second part of that music print that's right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to I have to cut this out anyway. Oh no, you're not cutting. You're supposed to be tearing. You're supposed to be tearing this. You know what? I'm going to use my edge distresser because that was supposed to be a torn edge, but that's okay because we'll make it work. So I just want the side of that. So I'm actually going to, The reason I put that piece of paper right here is so, because sometimes the stamp sticks. The stamp sticks to the backing. When I press and pick up my stamp, I've had it happen. So back with my black, and I just need to do just this edge. And we'll give it a couple. Perfect, because we're just going to tear that away. So this side, this is what we were supposed to do to the first one, but I forgot. So you know what? We're gonna make it work. I'm gonna try just to get like a 1/4 of an inch off. And this piece is going to go just like that. So we have to get rid of what I don't want to see, which is going to be like that. And then the other 3 sides are cut out. And I'm not that worried about being right up close to the image in all the spots, because I am going to go around with my edge distresser on these edges as well. So if I'm not right close, you're not even going to notice once we're done edging it and inking it. Except for this bottom part, which is kind of scrolly. Okay, so need that. Go back in and ink those edges. The white ones anyway, not worried about the rest right at this point. Because we're going to go in and add a little more texture. Okay, so this piece, I'm going to take off just a bit more off the bottom. I'm not lining those up. I want them just a little off center. Oh, before I attach this, I forgot one thing that we need to do, which I can do this and this. We're going to go back and do our tag. I've used some metallic wax on the edges. So I'm just tapping onto the end of it and just ever so lightly going around. We're also gonna we have to go back, and I have to do our tag yet. So we're gonna have to do this on the tag as well. This just gives a little highlight, a little sparkle, a little shimmer. You can, if you're doing a lot, I will take the wax and I'll put it on, not so much on my craft mat because it's really hard to get off your mat. I'll put it on a scrap piece of paper and then I can dab into it with my finger, but it's easy just to use the tip. Just to tap your finger on the tip. Oh, I forgot to do. We might as well do this one too. This one's really thick. So I'm going around the edges. You can see that some spots I get like a smudge mark, which I like. You can see the shimmer there. Okay. So back to attaching this guy. He's just going behind there. Okay, let's move to our tag. I forgot about our tag. We should, oh, can you see how the wax is on there? I'll get it off before it dries because it really does. If you leave it, it will mark your mat. Okay, so we're gonna do something different with the tag. We're gonna use a stencil, which I have just a lattice kind of looking stencil. And I'm gonna take my pumice stone and I'm gonna add some ink onto the craft mat. I'm going to add some water and then move my stuff out of the way. Yeah, you guys can see me here, perfect. Take your stencil and rub it in your ink so that your ink is on the back side of your stencil. I'm gonna wipe that up just so that it's, and then set this on your stencil and then with a piece of paper towel, just press. And look at that. How beautiful is that? Very subtle. I'll go and wash that stencil when I'm done, but I just love how it just gives you just a very subtle image. Just gives you the stencil marks on the background. And the rest of it, I'm gonna leave white. I am gonna edge it, but I wanna just leave it all white like that. Excuse me, so like I've done before, to make a tag, I just use a scrap piece of paper, flip it, put it to make the same corner, inking in. I like to ink and then distress because it gets the ink in on the card. I could rub like this too, but I don't want it. I just want the edges. And then I'm gonna put this on the edge of my table again. Sorry, you can't see this part. And then, like I say, I always go in and add ink on those edges again. And then I'm gonna make a reinforcement. And like I've done on a previous one, I'm gonna add some layers. Add some layers and do the topped one with the script. So, glue. I love my Misty glue gun. It makes it so easy for your adhesive to be ready to go. Okay, so that's 4 layers. So we're gonna stick with 4. The top one, we need to make sure we ink it. And then, oh, and again, like in a previous video, you can only do a thick reinforcement like this if you have a crocodile, because a regular hole punch will not punch through that. It will not. You gotta have a crocodile. So that was a little bit bigger. That was a 5/8 inch circle punch that I used for that one. Okay, so that is our tag that's ready. We need to also go around it with our wax. So just tap some wax onto my finger. The other way that I could do it is to put a little bit of wax on there, and then I just spread it out so that it's not thick on my finger. The only bad thing I find with this is if you have extra wax, you can't put it back. So if I just tap into the top of my tube, I'll add a little on there too. Oh, and wow, oh, too much. I lost my script. Oh well, I lost my script. The other place we need to add some wax is on our snowflake. And I'm going to do this flat just because of it's very delicate. So it's kind of all over but random. Okay, now it's just a matter of assembly. Oh, one thing that I did, I forgot to get, I had a little cute little clip on there that I forgot to get. So I just have this one that we're gonna use. Just goes on there, and then the 3 tags, actually we'll do, just go through, decide how long you want them, and just tie them in place. And I'm just tying a double knot. And I want a tail, so I'm leaving a tail too, because I want those ends. Cute. So this one I want kind of in the middle. That's the snow. All right, so tag goes down first. And it goes close to the left side, center top to bottom. Then this music stamp piece. And it's gonna go closer to the right. Just making sure my snowflake will fit. And then I have a rhinestone brad that I'm going to use. to attach that snowflake. And that's the only thing. I'm leaving the rest of it. So that it's just the brad that's going through and attaching. There you go. A beautiful snowflake card. Remember, go back. I do like the stitching. I love the stitching actually, so I will go back and I will just add the stitching around there as well. All right, ladies, thank you so much for joining me. See you tomorrow.